Hello, my friends on YouTube. Merry Christmas to all. Happy Hanukkah. And if you celebrate another occasion, enjoy. We hope everyone is happy and healthy and everything is all right with you all. Um Today is Sunday, the 25th, Christmas Day here in America. I know in some countries they celebrate Christmas on January 7th, but here in America it's celebrated on the 25th, and it is a Sunday. Therefore, Merry Christmas to all. And also Happy Hanukkah to the Jews and to the Muslim, whatever you celebrate or not celebrate. Enjoy your life. Yani, I'm sorry. Enjoy your life. Okay. Today's video is the changing face of Islam, and the picture that I chose to put on this video, it has a very interesting significance, so bear with me. One person from somewhere in India sent me an email about something happening in Saudi Arabia. However, I tried to search for that, and unfortunately the result that I received, it was although I live in America, but it seems to be there is some controlling of the social media. Anyway, I asked him to send me a link, so he did, which is very interesting, and then we're going to talk about that. However, we're going to start with something that it's happening in Egypt. There are few things happening, and all of them require answers to questions. The Mufti, for those who don't know, is the highest Islamic religious authority. It's like the Pope in Catholic faith. So he's a man with weight, a man with authority. He sent a message or a letter to the government in Afghanistan, very strong letter, telling them to let girls go to university to do their exams for the final year so that they can graduate. And that on the surface sounds very, very good. But let's examine. Until late 1970s, the end of the 1970s, we know 1979, the Islamic Revolution in Iran took over, but also the Sunni world too has been started to change, and women at this time started to be influenced by the Muslim Brotherhood teaching that they should actually cover the face and cover the they started to cover completely, a little by little. First it was like a small cover on the hair, and then started to cover more until they became like they had the last thing was called abaya. Abaya is like a large garbage bag, large black garbage bag they put on top of the woman, and only two holes for the eyes to see. And actually in Afghanistan they even cover the eyes with kind of a net so that even you don't see the eyes, but the woman can somehow see through these tiny hole of the mesh. Anyway, now that highest authority of Islamic teaching to the Sunni sect, which is about 73% of Muslim, which is over a billion people, coming to tell Taliban to let women go to do their exams. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, in the 70s, the trend was that, if you remember, a clerk. His name was Sha'rawi, for those who know uh, the people who influenced Egypt, not just Egypt, but the Sunni teaching all over the world. The clerk, his name is Sha'rawi. Huh? His message, and I'll put that in the description box, unfortunately is in Arabic, but you have to take my word for it. His message was women supposed to cover everything, everything. And this clerk was a graduate of Al Azhar University, the same institute that is sending a message to the Taliban in Afghanistan to let women do their exams. He is the same man with the blessing of the same institute, Al Azhar, who was saying women should not pursue education. You ought to stay home. So, what I'm trying to say here, Al Azhar in the late 70s, early 80s of last century, their stance was women to cover, women not to go to school. So until the American forces went to Afghanistan after September 11th, 2001, I think they went to Afghanistan, I can't remember, 2002 or 2003. However, before that, Osama bin Laden was in charge of Afghanistan, and girls didn't go to school, period. If you have an educated mother, the mother used to teach her kids at home, but there was no schools for girls. If education is important for girls like that, and to go to if girls supposed to go to university, I'm very sorry, but where were you in the late 70s, early 1980s from that? Why you didn't send a letter to Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan, the same country, telling him to let girls go to school, elementary school and high school? Why it was not permitted then in the 70s, 1970s and 1980s, and now we are sending a strong letter to the Taliban. They are the same Taliban, it's the same Azhar University. Yes, the Mufti changed because the other one passed away. But the principle should be the same. If it was right then, it should be right today. Well, not the Muslim are not following the Mufti. The Muslim are following Islam. So if it was right in the 1970s and 1980s, 1990s, 2000, it should be correct today. Otherwise, if it was wrong, where were you? Al-Azhar leader, the Mufti, where were you? Why you didn't send a letter to the Taliban telling them to let girls go to school? It's a legitimate question. I'm not attacking anyone, although it may look like it, but it's a legitimate question. Even if I'm attacking, why? We need answers. Okay? That because few times I said Al-Azhar is, I'm sorry to use this expression, is the prostitute of the Sultan. And in 1970s and 1980s, the Sultan didn't care so much about the education of women. It was not affecting the Sultan directly. However, now it does. And the Sultan is sending a message to the prostitute, to the whore, find us a way out of this. So the whore sends a letter to the Taliban in Afghanistan to loosen the grip. The same thing in Iran. well, they changed their mind now, but when they saw that women are standing strong and men standing together with them against the religious authority, they thought of losing the grip a little. So they thought we should do like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they had similar police, like in Iran, that police in Iran called morality police. Saudi Arabia had that before, but the difference is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, on his own, before any pressure started, he took down this institute, the morality police. He got rid of them. Iran was contemplating to get rid of the authority, the morality police, because of the pressure that men and women now putting on the authority. They know they could collapse, so they considered getting rid of the morality police. The problem is they can't, because if they do, what is next? There will be another demand and another demand, and ultimately the people put it plain and simple. We don't want you. And they put symbolic pictures, a gallows, a rope hanging, and they literally, they are saying, we will hang you. So the authority considered again, and they thought to themselves, you give them 1 inch now, we are on the way to go to the gallows, one after the other. And now they are trying to hold tight. At the end, it may take a little bit longer, but at the end, it's not that I want them to be hanged, even if they deserve it, which I think they do. But I don't want anybody to be, in a way, I don't want to practice the way they practice. But they should actually face punishment, not necessarily the gallows. Anyway, Iran still resisting this authority, Islamic authority. And at the end, I really think they will get rid of that morality police once and for all, and there will be other things happening after that. The thing is, when this happens, and probably that's why they are still not getting rid of the morality police, because there will be a question why it was right then to keep them oppressing women, and now you are taking it off. If it was good in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, why take it off now? Somebody to answer for us. The video that I received from that person, and I will not say his name or her name, is the change that is taking place in Saudi Arabia, and I'll put you that video that he or she sent me in the description box, so that you can see for yourself that Saudi Arabia had the same disease, that ideology infested in the country, until the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia started to heal the country from this illness. And first, he allowed women to drive, women can travel. All that was not permitted before. A woman, if she wanted to go to the supermarket to buy some food, she had to have a man with her, walking around with her in the market, in the supermarket, or in the store, until she finishes shopping, and then he takes her in the car or in a taxi and bring her home. He allowed women to drive, women can travel by themselves, they can go to the store by themselves. So he gradually moving Saudi Arabia from this nonsense to the light. And at certain point, he said, hijab is optional. Before it was mandatory, and the religious authority was calling for it since this ideology came to us 1400 years ago, but it was really revived with the Muslim Brotherhood later on. It started in 1920, in the 1920s. But it took roots in Egypt in the 70s. And Egypt influenced the whole Islamic world with it. Now, Saudi Arabia is taking the lead, getting rid of this nonsense. So, first step was, he said hijab is optional. But that step that I received this video about is now is banned. Not hijab, I'm sorry, abaya. Abaya is that, like, it looks like a garbage bag. They stuff the woman in it so that you don't know how she looks like. Okay? So he said that is now forbidden. Why? He actually has certain wisdom. Women started that garbage bag that they put on them, on women. People started to make it. It's supposed to be black, even in that heat in Saudi Arabia, which black, it makes you more hot. People started to rebel, so they started to make different colors, all kind of colorful, to get away, so that they don't go to prison, but also they are obeying. And for a person who is wise, like the current prince of Saudi Arabia, he took steps. Okay, they don't want it. Don't wait until it becomes physical war. So he made it optional. Not only that, they actually used to wear that abaya, that garbage bag, inside out. Is a type of rebellious attitude. So it's wisdom that he actually takes care of it before it becomes an issue. Whereas in Iran, they waited too long. And now they are really in a dilemma. They don't know what to do. So now Saudi Arabia is saying, this is the first step, banning abaya, banning this garbage bag for girls when they are going to do exams, because we don't know this girl, her face is covered, her body is covered, we don't know who she is. So it's banned from schools, especially when you are going to do exam. This is the first step. I bet you within 5 years there will be, I could be crazy wrong, but you may have nude beaches in Saudi Arabia. It's not that I'm calling for it, but you have to leave people do whatever they want. They are free. If they want to do that, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm not saying that I will encourage any of my children to do that, or my neighbor, or my friends. But some people like to do that. Some people like to drink alcohol. Some people like to do drugs. People should do whatever they want to do. They are free. The thing is, that will take time, but it will happen. I actually made a prediction a while ago. BBC Arabic used to allow people to put comment on certain subjects, and one of my comments, that was like about, it was maybe, they don't do that now, that was about 10 years ago. I predicted that. I said within, but it, not the exact timing, the timing was not right. I predicted within 10 years or more, hijab will be optional. More than 10 years. That was 10 years ago, so I was expecting the hijab would be optional maybe around 2025. But actually, way before my prediction, and I'm not saying this is a religious prediction, it's just I can feel the people and the trend that it is going. I could see what's happening. And I see what's going on in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking that this will happen, but I feel within few short years you might have nude beaches in Saudi Arabia. And this, by the way, this is because if you push so hard into one direction, there will be a consequence for your action, and it goes all the way to the opposite direction. Anyway, my final thing is something to do with the picture that I put on my video, which is a person by name Adnan Oktar. He is a man from Turkey, and he is a religious leader, and they call him the Mahdi. The Mahdi, this is a title similar to the Messiah. Is like the second coming of Muhammad. In Christianity, they say this, the second coming of Jesus or the second coming of the Messiah. In Islam, they call him Mahdi, the second coming of Muhammad. So he's coming. So the follower of this man, he has a channel, TV channel, and he preaches Islam. The thing is, he preaches while women are dancing, and they are half naked, and there is alcohol, they eat, drink, and be merry. The thing is, and that's another question a person from Al Azhar has to answer. You arrested this man and you gave him a sentence 8,658 years sentence in prison. Why? Because he drinks, he has many women surrounding him, he's fornicating or committing adultery or whatever. Okay, if this is the case, then this is a standard and it should be applied to me, to Adnan Oktar, and to the founder of Islam. Of the women surrounding this man, Adnan Oktar, I didn't see any of them that is 9 years old. They are all grown up women. And if they want to do that, they want to dance half naked or naked, that's their business. If they want to commit adultery or fornication, it's their business. I didn't hear of this man raping one of them. They offer themselves to him. Okay? I can't say the founder of Islam raped a woman, because some women, of course he was wealthy, similar to Adnan Oktar, he's very wealthy. Some women at the time of 1400 years ago, some women offer themselves to the founder of Islam. I can't say this is rape. No. If she offered herself, of course I can say that's not the best morality for this woman to do so, and for the person who had sexual intercourse with her, both wrong. But I can't accuse him of anything. But why here? A man who have sexual relationship with 9 years old girl, he rapes Safiya bint Huyay, he rapes Rihana bin Shamoun, he takes women like Maria the Copt, she was a slave while his wife was shopping. and he forced himself on her. Why Adnan Oktar, the Islamic leader, goes to prison? Of course, nobody can spend that many years, but symbolically, 8,658 years in prison, whereas the person who committed worse stuff, we say, may the blessing of Allah be upon him. Question somebody has to answer. We thank you. I'm sorry that was a long video. We hope to hear from you.